Welcome to Iron Speed Designer video training. Today we're going to talk about using the property sheet. Once we've created an application with Iron Speed Designer, we can open that application, and in the design view of Iron Speed we see the Application Explorer on the left. In the center is the layout editor shared with live preview, and on the right we see the panels for the property sheet and the toolbox. If we don't see the panels for either the property sheet or the toolbox, we can go to the view menu and make sure that those are checked. Almost everything that needs to be configured is in the property sheet. Let's say we want to change the logo of the page header. Let's go to the header and footer section and find the header control, find the logo, and look for the image URL property of the logo. If we don't see it, it's because it's in the appearance section, which may be closed, in which we would have to open. Then all we have to do is put a new image in our images folder of the application, which I've already done, copying in the Iron Speed logo from our corporate website. Then point our image URL to that image, and now our pages will show the new logo. Let's take a look at what we mean by that by looking at one of the pages of our application, previewing the page, and we can see that our header is now the proper Iron Speed Designer logo. As soon as it finishes rebuilding it, there we go. We can also use the properties to change and initialize field values on our pages. Let's take a look at the page to add a sales rep. On this sales rep page, we have fields to be added. They're all initialized to default values. Default values for adding a page are almost always empty, but I want the hire date to be initialized to today's date. Here we can see that I've already changed that. It's a simple thing to simply select the initialize property and then change the formula from the default value to today. Changing formulas is easy. Notice down here it just says get the function list by right-clicking and look for functions for date and time. Go to today, pick that function, and of course that's an extra one I didn't want, but once we've changed it, we'll initialize that field to today. Let's just take a look and make sure that happens. So, previewing the page, we see that the hire date is indeed initialized. We can also use the property sheet to change button actions. In particular, where are my button actions? So first I have to have a button, so let's go to the Show Sales Rep page. Look for the buttons in the, here we go, fields. On each row there's a button for editing and deleting a row. So let's look at the Edit Row button and where it redirects to. Normally it would redirect to a new add page or a new edit page where it will give us where we'll have the URL. Instead, let's redirect it to a new window so that the current one won't close. Just change where it's redirected to, and we could also, let's go back, we could also choose a modal pop-up on the page so that we would have to edit the value and we couldn't have a new window. Whichever we choose, the URL parameters are the same. We can just finish editing the button action, and now when we edit that row, we'll get a new window. Here we'll see that by previewing the page and trying to edit one of our sales reps, and we see we get a new window. It doesn't open in the live preview area, instead it opens a new window. We can also add a button action for sending email. On our edit sales rep page, suppose we wanted to get a new email every time one of our sales reps was saved. So we could go to the Save button, which is located on our page in the Buttons section, Button panel, the Save button, and we can find our Send Email button actions. Right now there are none configured, but I can add one, and then I would just fill in the parameters for who I want it to be from and to, add the content, and finish, and create a new button action so that every time someone clicks the Save button, we'll have an email sent to wherever I've configured. Remember that when you're sending email, you also have to configure your email server in your application so it knows which SMTP server the email has to go to. We can also use the property sheet to change the search for our application, for our page. Let's look at the search in the Show Sales Rep page. Go to the Search section. In Search, for the search text and the search button for the search text, we can find the search property, open the search property, and see which fields will be searched when we when we enter values there. We can add or remove any values, make sure that only the fields we want are searched. We can include any other field that's just text. Where is my... For instance, if we wanted to include the title field, we could include it. Any other field that's text in the record. Then, when we enter values in the search text, those fields will be searched to find matching records. We can also change the filters section. Going to the filters for this page and selecting any one of the filters values, we can see that we have where that filter will apply, also how that filter will be displayed, and what it's initialized to. Initializing a filter means that if we use a URL, if that page is called with a proper URL, then that filter will be initialized to the value of the URL. And so those are some of the things we can do. All of the properties in the property sheet can be changed to change our application every way we want. This completes the video on using the property sheet. Be sure to see the many others available on the property pages of our website.